The year was 2147, and Earth had become a joke. For decades, alien ships had hovered above cities like silent predators, their sleek silver bodies reflecting the polluted skies below. They called themselves the Galactic Council, a coalition of advanced species who claimed to bring peace to the universe. But to humans, they brought only shame. The aliens sneered at Earth's wars, its hunger, its endless divisions. They called humans the failed experiment, a species too primitive to join the stars. The final insult came on a cold October morning. Without warning, every screen on the planet flickered to life. Phones, billboards, even ancient radios crackled with static. Then came the video, a montage of Earth's darkest moments. Wars in dusty deserts, children starving in cracked fields, forests burning into ash, and over it all the laughter of aliens, deep, guttural sounds that shook, speakers like thunder. A voice boomed, "Behold the galaxy's greatest shame. This is what happens when evolution fails." The video spread faster than fire. Humans wept in the streets. Leaders begged the council for mercy, for respect. One diplomat, a towering insectoid creature named Virak, appeared on live television. His mandibles clicked as he spoke. "You will never be one of us. You are not worthy." Then the screen went black. But the aliens had made a mistake. They had underestimated the one thing that made humans different: their stubbornness. When all else failed, humans fought. Even when they were outnumbered, outgunned, or humiliated, they kept fighting, and now they had a reason to fight back. On the far side of the moon, a mining crew stumbled upon something strange. The crew, a ragtag group of engineers and scientists, had been drilling for rare metals when their machines hit a wall. Not rock, but something colder, harder. When they broke through, their lights revealed a cavern lined with metal that glowed, faintly blue. Inside, half buried in dust, were ships unlike anything they'd ever seen. The ships were massive, jagged, and sleek, like blades forged by gods. Their surfaces shimmered, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. Symbols covered the hulls, sharp, angular shapes that seemed to shift when stared at. The crew's translator AI froze, trying to decode them. "It's not a language," whispered Mia Chen, the team's youngest engineer. She was only 19, but her mind worked faster than any machine. "It's math." She spent days studying the symbols. Slowly, patterns emerged. The equations described energy, motion, and power. At the center of the largest ship, she found a console. Her fingers trembled as she pressed a button. The room lit up. A hologram appeared, a star map stretching across the universe. Lines connected planets humans had never heard of. At the edge of the map, a phrase glowed in perfect English. "The worthy inherit this legacy." The crew stared. "They left this here. For us?" asked the team leader, Dr. Elena Ortega. Mia shook her head. "No, for anyone who could solve it. The aliens? They never even saw it. They thought the moon was dead." The aliens had scanned Earth's satellites, its oceans, even its deepest caves, but they'd dismissed the moon as useless. They'd missed the ships entirely. News of the discovery spread fast. Governments scrambled to contain it. Scientists argued over the ship's origins. Was this a gift? A trap? A weapon? But one thing was clear: the ships were real. And they worked. The crews on the moon began testing the systems. The ships drew energy from everything: sunlight, heat, even the faint radiation in space. They called them star destroyers, a joke that quickly turned serious. The destroyers could vaporize asteroids with a single blast. Their shields shrugged off meteor storms, and their engines could warp space itself, folding distances in an instant. But there was a problem. Activating the destroyers required immense power. To fully charge one, Earth would have to shut down its entire energy grid for 24 hours. No lights, no hospitals, no satellites, just silence. The world's leaders debated in secret. Some called it madness. Others saw a chance for revenge. "We're not ready," said the President of the United States, a woman named Aisha Malik. "If we do this, the aliens will notice. They'll retaliate. And if we do nothing," snapped General Igor Volkov of Russia, "they'll keep humiliating us. They'll keep treating us like pets. This is our chance to change everything." The argument raged for weeks. Meanwhile, spies reported troubling news. The Galactic Council was planning another broadcast. This time, they wouldn't just mock Earth. They'd teach it a final lesson. No one knew what that meant. But everyone feared it. As tensions grew, Mia Chen returned to the moon. She spent nights in the destroyer's control room studying the systems. She found logs, records of battles fought long ago. The ships had belonged to a race called the Forgeborn, a species erased from history by the very aliens who now mocked Earth. "They were like us," Mia muttered, staring at the glowing data. "Outcasts, fighters, and they left these for whoever could prove they were worthy." She pressed another button. A countdown appeared. 300 days, 12 hours, 47 minutes. "What does that mean?" asked Dr. Ortega. Mia's voice was quiet. "I think it's a timer. The ships are preparing to activate, all of them." Back on Earth, panic brewed. The aliens' armada had been spotted near Mars, dozens of warships bristling with weapons. Frak himself was on board. "This is it," said General Volkov. "They're coming to finish us." President Malik stood before the United Nations. Her speech was brief. "We've spent our lives begging for respect. We've tried peace. We've tried diplomacy. All they gave us was scorn. But now we have a choice. We can hide, or we can stand up." She paused, her eyes scanning the room. "I say we fight." The vote was unanimous. At midnight, Earth went dark. Power grids shut down from New York to Nairobi. Cities plunged into blackness. Hospitals switched to backup generators. Families huddled by candlelight, whispering prayers. And in the skies above, the moon, the star destroyers began to glow. One by one, they rose from the dust, their hulls humming with ancient fury. Beams of light shot into space, piercing the stars. The timer hit. 1,000 days. 00 hours. 00 minutes. A voice echoed from the ships, deep and cold. Legacy activated. Worthy confirmed. On Earth, Mia Chen watched the sky. "They're ready," she whispered, but so were the aliens. Vrak's armada dropped from hyperspace above Earth, their weapons charging. The final lesson was about to begin. What happened next would be remembered forever. The sky above Earth turned black. Not the natural darkness of night, but a suffocating void as Vrak's armada descended. Hundreds of alien warships, their hulls plated with iridescent scales, formed a jagged wall of death. At the center loomed Vrak's flagship, the Dominion's Wrath, a kilometer-long leviathan shaped like a fanged jaw. From its belly, a beam of crimson light charged, a weapon designed to scorch entire continents. But Earth did not cower. From the moon's surface, the star destroyers surged forward. 10 of them, each a sleek monolith of obsidian metal, pierced the stars like blades. Their engines roared with a soundless fury, warping space as they vanished and reappeared in a flash of light. The alien scanners glitched, unable to track their movements. Vrak's mandibles snapped in rage. "Destroy them!" he bellowed. The armada fired. Beams of plasma, blue and white, tore through the void. Missiles streaked like comets, detonating in bursts of antimatter. But the star destroyers moved with impossible speed. One moment they were in front of the alien fleet, the next they were behind, their hulls glowing with stored energy. "They're toying with us," screamed an alien commander. Mia Chen stood on the Chengdu, the largest of the destroyers. Her hands gripped the console as equations scrolled across her screen. "Target the flagship's core," she ordered. "Fire when ready." A beam of violet light erupted from the Chengdu's bow. It moved faster than light itself, folding space to strike. The Dominion's Wrath directly in its engine. The alien ship shuddered. A second later, its rear half imploded, sucked into a collapsing dimension. Vrak roared as his command chair tilted sideways. "What is this?" The other destroyers followed suit. Beams of entropy sliced through alien ships, unraveling matter into nothingness. One destroyer hovered above a battleship, its hull shimmering. Suddenly, the alien vessel froze, time itself locked in a stasis field. Then, in an instant, it aged 1,000 years, crumbling into rusted debris. On Earth, billions watched the battle on flickering screens. Cities had gone dark hours ago, but emergency generators powered makeshift broadcasts. Families huddled around radios, their faces lit by the glow of static. "They're winning," whispered a child in Tokyo. "They're not human," muttered a soldier in Nairobi. Back in space, the aliens panicked. Vrak's flagship limped backward, its remaining engines sputtering. "Retreat! Retreat!" he hissed. But the destroyers gave no mercy. A star destroyer named the Nushu Guangs at New Dawn unleashed a pulse of gravitational waves. Dozens of smaller alien ships collapsed like crushed insects. Another destroyer, the Liberty, fired a net of lightning, paralyzing an entire squadron. Then came the final blow. Mia's fingers danced across her console. The Forge-born logs had revealed one last weapon, a quantum lance capable of piercing even the densest shields. She input the coordinates. Fire. The lance struck. It was not a beam, nor a missile, but a tear in reality itself, a jagged wound that split the fabric of space. Vrak's remaining fleet vanished into the void, consumed by the anomaly. Silence fell. The star destroyers hovered, their hulls smoking. Of the alien armada, only a few wrecks drifted in orbit. Vrak survived. Trapped in an escape pod, he stared at the ruins of his fleet. His compound eyes reflected the earth below, now glowing with the light of cities reigniting. "They're not primitive," he muttered. "They're something else." Back on Earth, the power grid rebooted. Lights flickered on in every nation. In New York, a crowd gathered in Times Square, cheering as holograms replayed the battle. In Moscow, General Volkov lit a cigar, his face unreadable. President Malik stood on the White House balcony, her speech ready, but no words came. Instead, Mia's voice crackled over the global network. "We did it." The world erupted. But victory brought questions. Where had the Star Destroyers come from? Why had the Forge-born left them behind? And what would the galaxy think of Earth's sudden rise? Dr. Elena Ortega, still on the moon, pored over the Forge-born logs. They weren't just leaving weapons, she told her team. They were leaving a message. The logs revealed fragments of the Forge-born's history. An ancient race, advanced, beyond comprehension, they'd once ruled the galaxy. But the Galactic Council, the same aliens who'd mocked Earth, had betrayed them. The Forge-born were hunted to extinction, their planets sterilized. The Star Destroyers were their final vengeance, hidden across the stars for any species clever enough to claim them. They chose us, Mia realized, because we fought back. But not all was celebration. In deep space, a surviving alien warship limped toward a distant star. Its AI sent a signal, bouncing across the void. The message was short. Earth is dangerous. The Forge-borns. Weapons are theirs now. All planets must unite, they must be stopped. Across the galaxy, other civilizations received the warning. Some rejoiced, others trembled. And on a forgotten world, a new voice stirred. A hologram flickered to life in a ruined temple. The figure was humanoid, but taller, with silver skin and eyes like burning stars. Its voice was a chorus of echoes. The Forge-born, legacy lives. The worthy have risen. The figure paused. And the galaxy will kneel. On Earth, Mia stared at the stars. She felt it, a shift in the cosmos, like the calm before a storm. We're not done, she said quietly. We're just getting started. The Star Destroyers remained in orbit, their engines humming. Ready. The galaxy did not forget. Across the stars, alien civilizations reeled at the news. Earth, the planet once laughed at for its wars and pollution, had not only survived but crushed the Galactic Council's fleet. On distant worlds, leaders argued. Some called Earth a threat, others a beacon of hope. But all agreed, the balance of power had shifted. On a storm-racked planet called Zelthar, the Council's surviving members gathered in secret. Vrak, his left mandible shattered, stood before them. His voice trembled with rage. We were fools. We let them hide their strength. Now they wield the Forgeborn's weapons, our doom. A reptilian diplomat hissed. They must be stopped, before they grow stronger. But stopping Earth would not be easy. Back on Earth, the Star Destroyers patrolled the solar system, their shadows falling across Mars and Venus. Humanity, once divided, now moved as one. The United Nations dissolved, replaced by the Terran Alliance. Single government led by President Aisha Malik, General Igor Volkov, and Mia Chen. The destroyers were no longer secrets, they were symbols. Billions watched as Mia stood before the world, her voice steady. We are not conquerors, we are guardians. But if anyone tries to harm us again, we will not hesitate. The message was clear. Earth was done begging. But power breeds enemies. In the weeks following the battle, strange signals began appearing near Neptune's orbit. At first, scientists dismissed them as cosmic noise. Then came the ships. They were unlike anything Earth had seen, sleek, angular, and silent. Their hulls drank in light, making them nearly invisible. They called themselves the Virex Collective, a species that had watched the galaxy's wars for millennia. They did not speak. They broadcast. A single phrase echoed across every human device. You are unworthy. The Forgeborn's weapons do not belong to you. Then the attacks began. The Virex struck without warning. One moment, a star destroyer was orbiting Jupiter. The next, it vanished. No explosion, no debris, just gone. The Virex's weapons didn't destroy ships. They unmade them, erasing matter from existence. Mia Chen studied the data, her hands trembling. They're using quantum decay, like the Forgeborn, but twisted. President Malik ordered all destroyers back to Earth. But the Virex followed, on. A cold morning in December, the skies above London turned red. A Virex ship descended, its form shifting like liquid metal. It hovered over Big Ben, then fired. The ancient clock tower crumbled into ash. Across the city, people screamed as gravity itself warped. Streets folded into themselves. Cars floated upward, torn apart molecule by molecule. The Virex weren't here to conquer. They were here to test. Mia and her team scrambled. The Forgeborn logs hinted at a weakness. The Virex relied on a central node to coordinate their attacks. If the node was destroyed, their fleet would collapse. But finding it was another matter. They're hiding it in a parallel dimension, said Dr. Elena Ortega. We'd need a weapon that can fire across realities. Mia's eyes lit up. The quantum lance. The plan was reckless. A single destroyer, piloted by Mia, would warp space around itself, creating a rift to the Virex's dimension. Inside, she'd have seconds to fire before the rift collapsed. General Volkov objected. Too risky, you could die. I'd rather die fighting than let them erase us, Mia shot back. The mission began. The Chengdu soared toward the Virex ship, its engines blazing. As it neared, the world around it shivered. Reality peeled away like paper, revealing a dark void beneath. The rift opened. Mia dove in. Inside the Virex dimension, time moved differently. Stars pulsed like dying hearts. At the center floated the node, a sphere of swirling black energy. Target locked, Mia whispered. She fired the quantum lance. The node exploded. The rift collapsed. Mia barely escaped, her ship smoking as it tumbled back to Earth. Outside, the Virex fleet froze mid-attack. One by one, their ships unraveled, vanishing into nothingness. London was saved. But the cost was clear. The Virex had been defeated, but they were not alone. Across the galaxy, other civilizations took note. Some feared Earth's rise, others saw opportunity. And deep in the ruins of the Galactic Council's headquarters, Vurak received a new message. The Virex failed. But we will not. Prepare for the third wave. On Earth, celebrations were short-lived. Mia stood in the ruins of London, staring at the scorched earth. "This isn't over," she muttered. President Malik approached, her coat flapping in the wind. "No, but we're ready." The Terran alliance expanded. Former enemies became allies. Engineers worked non-stop to build more destroyers, while scientists studied Forgeborn tech for new defenses. But not all was unity. In the shadows, a faction called the True Earth Coalition emerged. They believed humanity should use the destroyers to conquer the galaxy, to teach the aliens a real lesson. Their leader, a charismatic general named Rafael Cruz, gained followers fast. "They fear us," Cruz declared in a broadcast. "Why should we hide? We have the power to rule." President Malik denounced him, but his words resonated with those who remembered Earth's centuries of humiliation. Mia found herself torn. She hated the aliens' arrogance, but she also knew what unchecked power could do. "We're not them," she told Cruz in a tense meeting. "We're better than this." Cruz smiled coldly. "Are we?" The conflict simmered. Meanwhile, Dr. Ortega made a discovery on Earth that changed everything. Deep beneath the Himalayas, a second Forgeborn vault was found, larger than the moon's. Inside were not just ships, but cities, entire ecosystems, built to survive planetary destruction. And at the center, a message. "To the worthy, this is your inheritance. But beware. Great power demands great cost." The cost came swiftly. As Earth prepared to unlock the Himalayan vault, a new signal reached the Chengdu. It was not a threat. It was a voice. Mia Chen. She froze. The voice was familiar, calm, melodic, yet ancient. "You have awakened the legacy, but the Forgeborn's enemies still live. You must choose. Remain a guardian, or become a god." The transmission ended. Mia stared at the stars. The galaxy waited, and Earth stood at the edge of its destiny. The Himalayan vault awakened with a roar. Deep beneath the ice-capped peaks, ancient machinery groaned as the Forgeborn seal cracked. Engineers from the Terran Alliance watched in awe as the ground split open, revealing a spiraling tower of black crystal. The structure pulsed with light as if alive. "It's not just a vault," Dr. Elena Ortega whispered, adjusting her oxygen mask. "It's a reactor." Mia Chen stood at the edge of the chasm, her breath visible in the thin mountain air. The message from the unknown voice still echoed in her mind. "Become a guardian, or become a god." She pressed her palm to the crystal wall. The tower responded instantly. Light surged upward, piercing the clouds. Across Earth, every Star Destroyer's systems rebooted, their weapons glowing brighter than before. In space, the Chengdu shuddered as its core hummed with newfound energy. But the vault's awakening did more than empower the Terran Alliance. It sent a signal. Light years away, in the ruins of the Galactic Council's headquarters, Vurak stared at the data streaming across his screen. His compound eyes widened. "The Forgeborn's power has grown," hissed a reptilian advisor. "We must strike now." Vurak's mandibles snapped. "The third wave is ready." The third wave was not a fleet. It was a weapon, a planet-sized machine called the Nullifier, hidden in a black hole's shadow for millennia. Its purpose? To erase entire civilizations. The Council had built it during the Forgeborn War but never dared use it. Now, desperation outweighed fear. "The humans will die screaming," Vurak snarled. On Earth, the True Earth Coalition moved. General Rafael Cruz gathered his forces in the desolate salt flats of Bolivia. Thousands of soldiers, pilots, and engineers pledged loyalty to his vision. Not just defense, but conquest. "We have the power to rule the stars," Cruz declared, his voice amplified by holograms across the globe. "Why hide behind peace when we can claim what's ours?" President Aisha Malik condemned him, but Cruz's words resonated with those who remembered Earth's centuries of humiliation. Protests erupted. Some cities declared allegiance to the coalition. Others remained loyal to the Terran Alliance. Mia Chen found herself torn. She hated the Galactic Council's arrogance, but she also knew unchecked ambition could destroy humanity from within. "They're using our pain to control us," she told General Igor Volkov during a tense meeting in Geneva. Volkov grunted. "Then we stop them. Before they start a war we can't win." The nullifier arrived without warning. It appeared as a jagged sphere of black metal, its surface etched with glowing runes. It did not orbit Earth. It hovered in the void, silent and immense. Then it spoke. A voice deep and cold echoed across every human device. "Your time ends. Surrender or be erased." The Star Destroyers scrambled. Mia rushed to the Chengdu, her heart pounding. "They've upgraded," Dr. Ortega reported from the moon base. "The nullifier's core is a black hole contained by Forgeborn tech. If it fires, it'll swallow Earth whole." Mia's hands flew over the controls. "Charge the quantum lance. Target the core." But the nullifier was faster. A beam of pure entropy lanced from its center, striking the Liberty. The Star Destroyer imploded, vanishing as if it had never existed. Panic spread. "Fall back," President Malik ordered. "Regroup at Mars." "No," Mia muttered. "If we retreat, they win." She opened a channel to all ships. "Listen to me. We can't fight it head on. We need to trap it." Dr. Ortega's voice crackled through comms. "The Himalayan vault. It's not just a reactor. It's a gate. A prison for something the Forgeborn feared." Mia's eyes widened. "A black hole trap." She rerouted the Chengdu's power to the vault's signal, amplifying its frequency. The crystal tower screamed, broadcasting a pulse that rippled through space. The nullifier shuddered, its core flickered. Then the vault answered. A vortex of light erupted from the Himalayas, stretching into the sky. The nullifier's black hole core strained against its Forgeborn bindings, pulled toward the vortex. "No!" Vrak screamed from his distant war room. "Reverse the pull!" Too late. The nullifier imploded, sucked into the vortex. The gate snapped, shut. Silence fell. The victory was hollow. The Liberty was gone. General Cruz used the chaos to seize control of half the Star Destroyers, declaring himself protector of humanity. Cities burned as coalition forces clashed with Alliance troops. Mia stood on the Chengdu, staring at Earth's scarred surface. "We saved the planet," she muttered, "and lost its soul." Dr. Ortega approached, holding a data chip. The vault left one last message. Mia inserted the chip. The hologram flickered to life, a Forgeborn voice, calm and ancient. "You have passed the trials, but the final test remains. Will you guard the galaxy, or claim it for yourselves?" The screen faded. Mia knew the answer. She turned to her crew. "Prepare for war, against both enemies." The battle for Earth began. Coalition ships attacked Alliance fleets in orbit. Cities became battlegrounds. Cruz broadcast his demands. Surrender or face annihilation. But Mia had a plan. She led a squad to the Himalayan vault, now dormant. With Dr. Ortega's help, they reprogrammed its signal to target Forgeborn tech, including the Coalition's stolen Star Destroyers. "You'll disable them all?" Volkov asked. "All but ours," Mia replied. The signal fired. Across the globe, Coalition ships froze mid-flight. Their engines shut down. Their weapons went dark. Cruz's broadcast cut to static. In Bolivia, Alliance troops captured him without resistance. As the sun rose over a battered Earth, President Malik stood before the world. "We are not conquerors," she said. We are not slaves, we are humans, and we will choose our own path. But the galaxy was watching. On a distant world, the same silver-skinned figure from earlier stirred. The worthy have chosen, it said to a room of shadows. Now we test the next. The figure turned to a star map. A new signal blinked, a star destroyer, far beyond the Milky Way, waiting to be claimed. Earth's story was far from over. But for now, the skies were quiet. The galaxy held its breath. Earth had survived the nullifier, crushed the true Earth coalition, and united under the Terran alliance. But peace was fragile. Across the stars, alien civilizations whispered of the humans who had risen from mockery to mastery. Some feared them. Others watched, waiting to see what they would do next. Mia Chen stood on the observation deck of the Chengdu, staring at the pale blue dot below. Earth glowed faintly, its scars still fresh. The Himalayan vault's power pulsed beneath its surface, a silent reminder of the Forgeborn's legacy. "You're quiet," Dr. Elena Ortega said, joining her. "I keep thinking about that message," Mia replied. The final test. The Forgeborn hologram had left them with a choice: guard the galaxy or claim it. Humanity had chosen neither or both. They had defended themselves, but at what cost? The war had exposed humanity's hunger for power, its willingness to turn on itself. Cruz's rebellion, Varak's hatred, the Virex's judgment, it all pointed to one truth: power was never neutral. A comms alert interrupted her thoughts. President Aisha Malik's voice crackled through the speakers. "Mia, we need you here. Now." In Geneva, the Terran Alliance's war room buzzed with tension. Holograms of alien worlds flickered above the table. General Igor Volkov stood with arms crossed, his face grim. "What's happening?" Mia asked. Malik gestured to the largest hologram, a star system humans had never seen. "This signal arrived an hour ago. It's from the Forgeborn." The projection shifted. The silver-skinned figure from the ancient recordings appeared, its voice echoing like wind through ruins. "You have passed the trials of fire and shadow, but the true test remains. Will you break the cycle or become it?" The hologram vanished. Volkov frowned. "What cycle?" Ortega pulled up data from the Himalayan vault. The Forgeborn weren't just warriors. They were jailers. They built the nullifier, the vaults, the star destroyers, to contain something worse. "Worse than the Council?" Malik asked. "Worse than anything," Ortega said. The room fell silent. Then the alarms blared. A ship had breached the solar system's edge. Not Virex, not the Council. Something new. The alien vessel hung in space like a shard of broken glass, sharp, jagged, and alive. Its hull shifted colors blending into the void. When it spoke, it did so through nightmares. Every human in the fleet heard it in their minds. "We are the Revenant. We remember the Forgeborn. We remember what you've awakened." Star destroyers fired. Beams of entropy and quantum lances tore through the void, but the Revenant absorbed the attacks, growing brighter. "They're feeding on the energy," Mia realized. The Revenant retaliated. A pulse of dark light rippled outward. Star destroyers exploded like firecrackers. Earth's orbit lit up with debris. "We can't beat them like this," Volkov growled. Mia's mind raced. The Forgeborn had built their weapons to fight this enemy, but to win, humanity would have to do more than fire beams of light. They'd have to think. "The vault," she whispered. "It's not just a prison. It's a key." Back on Earth, the Himalayan tower glowed brighter as Mia and Ortega worked the controls. The Revenant's voice clawed at their minds, whispering doubts, fears, memories of every war humanity had ever fought. "You will fail. You will destroy yourselves. This is your nature." "No," Mia hissed. She slammed her fist on the beard. "Console. We're not just our past." The vault responded. A beam of white light shot from the tower, piercing the sky. In orbit, the Chengdu's core flared, its systems syncing with the vault. The ship began to change. Its hull expanded, folding into impossible shapes. Wings of pure energy sprouted. It became something new, a fusion of human ingenuity and forge-born power. The Chengdu surged toward the Revenant. "You've got one shot," Ortega warned over comms. Mia gripped the controls. "Then let's make it count." She dove into the enemy ship's heart. Inside, the Revenant writhed, a mass of shifting shadows and glowing veins. Mia fired the quantum lance. The beam struck true, but the Revenant laughed. "This will not save you." Mia activated the vault's final protocol. The Chengdu's hull split open, revealing a miniature black hole, a twin to the one in the nullifier. The Forgeborn had designed it to trap the Revenant, to seal it away forever. The Revenant screamed. "No. You will share our fate." The black hole expanded, swallowing the enemy ship and the Chengdu with it. "No," Ortega screamed, but Mia had planned for this. As the black hole collapsed, the Chengdu rematerialized in Earth's orbit, its systems intact. The Revenant was gone. The galaxy mourned its dead. The Terran Alliance rebuilt its fleet, but the cost was clear. Humanity had survived, but survival was not victory. The Forgeborn's warnings echoed in every council meeting. Great power demands great cost. On the moon, Mia stood before the ancient ships that had started it all. She traced her fingers over the Forgeborn symbols. "You chose us," she murmured. "But why?" A hologram flickered to life, small, faint, but unmistakable. The silver-skinned figure spoke one last time. "Because you endure, because you learn, because you are not us." The hologram faded. Behind her, President Malik approached. "What now?" Mia smiled. "Now, we move forward. Not as conquerors, not as victims, but as something new." Across the stars, alien civilizations watched Earth with wary respect. The Galactic Council's remnants retreated, rebuilding in secret. The Virex vanished, leaving only whispers. And in the darkness between galaxies, older things stirred, wondering if humanity would rise or fall. On Earth, children grew up learning of the day their planet stared down the universe and refused to blink. Statues of Mia Chen and the Chengdu stood in every city, but the real legacy lived in the skies. Star destroyers patrolled the edges of human space, not to conquer, but to guard. Their message was clear: humanity would not bow, and if anyone came for them again, they'd meet the same fate as the Revenant. The stars waited,